Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Interesting parallels, subhanAllah, between the following dates. You'll notice that the release date of Heliofont was the 24th of June 2012. Now, those of you following the channel are intimately aware that it's encrypted, this particular animation, with a lot of eschatology and a lot of their intentions for what they hope to unravel on the Ummah in due course. Now, the parallels that I'm seeing between this particular date, there's in April, we'll see there's almost 7 years, a combination of 7 years since the ipg2 was released. And you'll find that Meghan Markle's marriage to Prince Harry was very symbolic and very esoteric in nature, and it seemed it made reference to and was analogous to the marriage of Musa alayhi salam to Sarah, who was meant to be African in nature. If you do your research, and I've archived this on the channel somewhere a while back, then Meghan Markle is, in fact, she has Jewish roots. Not only that, her bloodline is, interesting enough, blue. It does go back to royalty, which, again, I guess the apple doesn't fall too far away from the tree. We weren't expecting any different, but yep, research shows quite clearly that she has got blue blood. In addition to that, what's interesting is that she's going to be in labor, and again, my position has been that it was a very ritualistic pregnancy and a symbolic one, and that her labor, she's due. Her due date is in spring, in April 2019. What's interesting is also, on the flip side, we've got Donald Trump, who's scheduled to announce the two-state solution in April, after Bibi Netanyahu's elections are over, early April. So there seems to be like a confluence of dates between her. And why would I be concerned with her birth? Well, her birth has a lot of, again, it's analogous to a lot of biblical passages that seem to be relevant to the time we're living in, and certainly with the Heliofont animation, which would speak of, I guess, the waters breaking. And we see that as the Antichrist is coming out. And then in the, symbolism of Aphrodite coming out of the water, and the castration of Uranus, right? And we've also got the Bible passages that speak of a woman traversing in labor pangs, and how there will be sudden destruction, similar and analogous to a woman in labor, where they come consecutively one after the other. It seems all of this is pointing towards that, and that's where they're tying a lot of the symbolism into, with respect to these timelines. Again, it's from Iblis Lanatullahi alayhi, but I think it's got a lot to do with eschatology, and also making a mockery, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Anyway, I thought I'd share this with you guys. The timelines seem to be very interesting, notwithstanding the fact what's happening right now, especially with Venezuela, and that seems to be another Hegelian dialectic. Just want to justify what's going to happen. What we know is going to happen is very likely an EMP attack. We've seen the extreme weather temperatures in the state. They've been historical records, and no doubt there would be, especially if they're trying to create a climate that's going to be unbearable, especially when this EMP and then it's going to be followed by a tsunami. And again, we've spoken about how Revelation 12 and then the surface, the ground cracking up in the States and would swallow the water. This would be seen by many of the Christian faithful as a divine hand. Unfortunately, that is couldn't be further removed from the truth. Although Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the musabbibul asbab, is the means behind the means, but this is a direct consequence. The asbab, the means, is the shayateen and ins and jinn, demonic forces, working and in cahoots with demonic forces in humanity as well at the same time. Subhanallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and guide us. Let's see how these things unfold. What's happening in Venezuela, I think, is going to be followed by an EMP attack on the States. And that's going to be how they'll justify war on that particular front, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Again, we've talked about the walls being erected. I think, in fact, I probably was the first person on YouTube that had raised concerns about that wall being set up to keep Americans in. Alhamdulillah, it's kind of become quite a adopted position across the board by everyone since, including, it turns out, Richie from Boston also seems to believe the same, as well as many, many others who have been picking up that idea that maybe perhaps that's what it's there for. So, I mean, all we can say is to those of you who live in the States is to just be sensible and just prep, have contingencies in place, because things are going to turn desperately worse than what they are right now. And again, it's just to create this trauma on humanity en masse for the next 7 years as this whole thing breaks out. And we've got Ezekiel 38 and 39 unfolding in Syria, in Asham with Israel. It's just going to be on every front and every level globally at the same time. And that's, I guess that's the idea behind all of this, is to traumatize humanity enough that when the Antichrist does come and they're lulled into believing that these mortal beings, Prince Harry, potentially Prince William, then there's Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, and also Donald Trump himself, whom I think there'll be an assassination attempt on, again manufactured, and then miraculously he'll come back to life and maybe assume the role of Little Horn, Wallahu alam. And then finally, these are all decoys by Iblis Lanatullah alayh for the Christian faithful, so that they would believe that when the actual Antichrist does arrive and comes from a heavenly direction, i.e. extraterrestrial, claiming very likely to have come from the Pleiades, the Sirius star constellation in that direction, where the Seven Sisters are, which is all connected to ancient Egyptian doctrines. This has all been archived on the channel, subhanAllah. In fact, I think maybe a few years ago, I'd pinpointed the Sirius star system, and it's archived on the channel, as a place where a Dajjal would claim his origins from, or at least the origins of his kind, whom then artificially inseminated the womb of Mary with Jesus, Nauzubillah min zalik, with Isa alayhi salam, and that he was in fact a sentient being. And then all of this is going to lend into them being our creators in the first instance, from the Homo erectus splicing our gene, and then bringing to humanity the pure Luciferian religion, which is the religion of the third eye, the pineal gland. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and guide us from this fitna. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Again, there's a lot of useful information in the science PDF, and it's not biased towards any denomination or any person from any religious belief system. It's for all of humanity. Everyone can benefit from it. at least take a look at the essentials that you need to basically stock up or consider stocking up. At least go through the list. It's in the science PDF on the about link of this channel. Jazakallah khairan wa ahsanu jaza for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.